What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to a brand new episode of the Blade Podcast, the podcast about film production, post-production, and marketing. I am your host, Lungile Mayindi. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about directing tips from the Homeland director, Lesli Linka Glatter. Okay, so I don't know if you guys know the show TV series, or should I say spy thriller series, called Homeland. It's an American series. The series stars Claire Danes and Damian Lewis in the first few seasons, and Damian Lewis kind of like drops out. Anyway, this is a spy series that I love. Like, I've watched this series like religiously. Like, I love the series. And I was really excited when I learned that one of the directors and producers from the show was going to teach a Sundance class on film directing. If you've ever watched the show, you know that the show is like filled with tons of suspense and thrilling moments, cutthroat moments, crazy twists. Everything about this series is just like top notch. From the acting to the music, the shooting to the edit. There's so many intense moments, I can't even count all of them. Okay, but enough about me fanboying about the show. So I got a chance to watch a 3-hour Sundance film directing class by Lesli Linka Glatter, who's one of the directors of the show. And I learned a few things, and I just thought I'd share them. One of the big lessons that I learned from watching this masterclass is that film director's job is basically to interpret the script. They have to know what lenses do and how to use them in order to invoke the correct emotions that they're intending to invoke in the audiences. And she spoke about that film directors need to be clear, they need to listen, and they need to prep like crazy. Another lesson that I learned is that, before you shoot something, you need to do a script analysis. So you need to ask yourself these questions like, what is the text? What is the subtext? What is the world of the story? What is the story saying? And what is the theme? Literally read the script over and over and try to interpret what the script is trying to say, and then also trying to communicate with your camera work and your editing and with all the different departments. Another thing that they spoke about is how to handle scenes, if you look at a scene in a script, you need to think about, why is a scene in the story? What's the text? What's really going on? What do the characters want? What do they need? Whose POV is the scene happening from? Where are they coming from? Where are they going? How does the scene fit in the big picture? What is the detail? And one thing that caught my eye was this notion of that there is like $1 scenes and 25-cent scenes, She was talking about how you need to know which scenes are important and which ones are not so important, because when you're planning and prepping and scheduling, you need to know these things, because once you know which scenes are important, you can prioritize them in your schedule. Maybe shoot those ones first, or give those ones more time, and then give the 25-cent scenes less time, because if there's a big moment coming up. Sometimes you need to give an actor time to prepare if they're going to do an emotional scene. So it was a really cool thing to learn, because I've shot movies where, I wanted to get each and every moment, but I didn't prioritize any other moments to give the actors enough time to prepare. So those are some really cool lessons that I learned. You need to know that there's $1 scenes and 25-cent scenes. I need to prioritize scenes and work with your creative team to schedule time for the scenes properly. And another lesson that I learned is that they talk about, before they shoot a scene, when they prep, they usually meet with experts for the week. Like if it's a spy show, they obviously meet with like soldiers, and they meet with like the CIA, consultants, and stuff like that. And it's like really cool how they prep and they do so much research. They read every book about the subject, and know as much as they can. Speak to the military if they've got a SEAL team scene coming in. They need to know all these things so that they can portray the authenticity on screen and make sure everything is correct. And in that prep is that they need to speak to all the different crew departments. They need to go visit the sets, know what props they need, do casting, talk to actors, Usually they'll have a concept meeting and read the script together with the whole crew and the department heads and plan things out. I really like this. I didn't know they take so much time into planning a shoot, but this really made me realize that I need to do this too, read the script with the actors and the crew, and then maybe even have another meeting where I just read it with the crew and we all prep and know what we need for each scene, so that, you can speak to your production designers, decide on color palettes, textures, speak to your DP, location managers, costume designers, and also share photographs. And develop visual languages for each scene. So I think, the idea of having concept meetings with your crew is really important, because I know I've had moments where I'm directing and I've got 1,000 questions coming at me, and it's some of these things I could have addressed in a previous meeting. Because when you're directing on set, there's no time and everyone wants your attention. And it's just crazy what happens when you're directing on set. She also spoke about every scene, you need to block it and plan to shoot it, do a storyboard, Even before you go shoot a scene, you need to meet with all the department's heads, go to the location, with your DP, your production designers, your makeup people. And then when you go to the location, you need to think about organization, in terms of parking, catering, costumes, and know where all these things are going to be for your production. So, in fact, I love the fact that they go to the location before they shoot there and take photos and design the scene, and rehearse with the actors at the location before they actually shoot. And then by the time they're shooting, they've got a shot list and a storyboard. They've got photos of the location. I mean, I love this. This is ultimate prep, And I think this is something that we all should do. Obviously, if you're working on a low budget film, you have to plan as much as possible because you don't have time or money. But if you have a bigger production, also you still need to do this just so you can have a better product. So, these are awesome lessons that I learned from watching this masterclass. I'm probably touching on some of these things. There were so many things that were spoken about in that podcast. So, in that video, it's literally 3 hours. So if you get a chance, guys, check out that Sundance Masterclass by Lesli Linka Glatter, the Homeland director. But yeah, these are some cool lessons that I learned and I thought I'd share, and maybe you guys will find them useful. But I really liked this class, and I found some really cool gems in this video. Okay, guys, thank you so much for listening to the Blade podcast. I am Lungile Mayindi. Thank you so much. If you have any ideas, please send me an email or comment on this podcast if you're listening to it on YouTube, or email me in the show notes. I've got my email in the show notes if you want me to speak about other things. I'm open to suggestions, questions, themes that you want me to talk about. Okay, guys, until next time, stay safe and keep creating. Peace out.